There are places that don't just waste your time, they rewrite your personality. You think you're entering a room, a job, a circle, a lifestyle, but what you're actually entering is a system of incentives. A system that quietly trains you, day by day, until your standards shift, your judgment softens, and your self-command leaks out of you without you noticing. Machiavelli would tell you a harsh truth. Most people aren't ruined by one dramatic mistake. They are ruined by environments, by the slow drip of influence, by returning to the wrong places until the wrong things feel normal. Because character doesn't collapse all at once. It collapses through exposure. Exposure to disrespect that becomes routine. Exposure to temptation that becomes ordinary. Exposure to chaos that becomes your baseline. Exposure to people who benefit from your weakness. And once your baseline changes, your future changes. That's what ruin really is. Not only poverty, not only addiction, not only public failure. Ruin is the quiet loss of self-command. The moment your mind stops being yours and becomes a reaction machine shaped by whatever environment you keep feeding. This is why places are dangerous. Not because of walls, but because of invisible social gravity. Most people think danger looks obvious: violence, crime, scandal, betrayal. But the deepest danger is what feels familiar, what feels fun, what feels like belonging. Because your brain confuses familiarity with safety, and the world takes advantage of that confusion. Machiavelli studied courts and kings, alliances and betrayals, the hidden mechanics of power. He understood something modern people forget: every environment has an agenda. Some agendas build you, others break you. So when I say 6 places that will ruin you, I don't mean a country or an address. I mean psychological locations, social ecosystems that corrupt your judgment, drain your energy, and turn you into a tool for someone else's game. If you don't choose your environment will choose you. Place 1, the room where you are constantly tolerated, never valued. This is the workplace that keeps you small. The friend group that jokes at your expense. The relationship that benefits from your insecurity. The community that gives you crumbs of approval so you stay hungry. You can feel it by one signal: you are always proving, always adjusting, always over-explaining, always performing. You become a professional beggar for respect. This place ruins you because it trains you to accept low treatment as normal. It makes you grateful for basic decency. And once you become grateful for basic decency, you stop demanding greatness. You stop believing you can rise. The hidden rule of this room is simple: you are replaceable. Your role is to adapt. Their role is to judge. So you become cautious. You stop taking bold risks. You stop speaking clearly. You start editing yourself before you even think. You survive, but you slowly disappear. That's the first kind of ruined self-erasure. Place 20. The environment where drama is entertainment. This is the group chat that thrives on conflict. The workplace where gossip is currency. The circle where chaos is the main hobby. The family system where tension is so normal that peace feels suspicious. Drama is not just noise, it is addiction. Because drama gives your brain stimulation, it makes you feel involved. It gives you an identity: the one who knows, the one who reacts, the one who takes sides. But drama comes with a hidden cost. It steals your future. A mind addicted to short-term emotion cannot build long-term power. Machiavelli would say a prince doesn't fight unnecessary wars. Wars drain resources and distract from building real strength. Your drama is an unnecessary war. It drains your time, your sleep, your focus, your clarity. It trains your nervous system to live on alert. And then you start mistaking reactivity for strength. You think being loud means being powerful. You think having strong opinions means having a strong life. But all it proves is that you are easy to hijack. The people who profit from drama are not the people who live well. They are the people who keep you distracted while they move quietly. Place 3. The place where your vices are normalized. This is the bar where everyone drinks to forget. The online space where numbness is treated as normal. The circle where lazy habits are celebrated as just living. The lifestyle where self-destruction is called freedom. The ruin here is not the vice itself, it's the normalization. When a vice is normalized, you stop seeing it as a problem. You stop fighting it. Your standards collapse. Machiavelli warned rulers about corruption. Once corruption becomes normal, the state collapses from within. The same happens to a human being. You don't fall because you have weaknesses. You fall because you stop resisting them. And decline always feels comfortable at first, because discipline hurts. Comfort doesn't, but comfort has an interest rate. It charges you later. So those are the first 3 ruin places: tolerance, drama, and normalized vice. Title: 6 places that will ruin you. Machiavelli's warning: if the first 3 places ruin you through obvious weakness, being tolerated, being addicted to drama, and normalizing vice, the next 3 ruin you through something more dangerous. They ruin you by making you feel safe while they slowly erase your agency. These places don't attack you. They seduce you. Place 40, the place that rewards your insecurity. This one hides behind politeness. It hides behind support. It hides behind people who call themselves your friends. It is the environment where your insecurity is profitable to others. You are praised for being humble when humility is actually self-erasure. You are called nice because you don't set boundaries. You are rewarded for being available on demand. You are celebrated for over-giving because it makes others comfortable. You think you're being good, but what you're actually doing is teaching people how to use you. Machiavelli understood that power often comes from weakness. A ruler who wants control doesn't always punish you. Sometimes he rewards your submission so you keep submitting willingly. That is what this place does. It trains you to associate approval with self-betrayal. You start making decisions based on whether people will be upset, not on whether the decision is right. You start saying yes to protect comfort instead of saying yes because it's aligned. You start shrinking your ambition because your ambition threatens the group's identity. And the moment your ambition threatens their comfort, they call you selfish. So your insecurity becomes a leash, and the place that rewards your insecurity holds the leash. The ruin here is subtle. You stop trusting yourself. You begin outsourcing your judgment. You scan the room before acting. You apologize before speaking. You explain before choosing, and you tell yourself you are being considerate. No, you are being trained. Place 5, the place that trains you to fear solitude. This is the loud world, the constant feed, the infinite scroll, the environment where silence feels unbearable. Solitude is dangerous for one reason: it forces you to face yourself. So the modern world does everything it can to keep you from being alone with your own mind. Notifications, entertainment, podcasts, music, endless stimulation, anything to keep you from sitting in stillness long enough to hear the truth. And the truth is often uncomfortable. That you're not building what you claim you want. That you're avoiding the work that would change everything. That you're staying in a relationship out of fear. That you're wasting years trying to impress people you don't respect. Solitude reveals the gap between your identity and your actions. So most people avoid it, and what you avoid controls you. Machiavelli would say, if you cannot be alone, you can be controlled. Because anyone who controls the noise controls your focus. Anyone who controls your focus controls your future. This is the psychological ruin of the modern era. People lose the ability to think deeply. They lose the ability to plan long-term. They lose the ability to endure boredom, the condition required for mastery, because mastery is built in silence. If you are never alone, you never build your internal authority. You remain emotionally dependent. You remain a social animal chasing signals. And then one day you wake up and realize your life is mostly the opinions of others, played back through your choices. That is ruin. Place 6, the place that sells you fake power. This is the most dangerous place because it feels like strength. It's the corner of the world, especially online, that tells you domination is confidence, cruelty is truth, arrogance is masculinity, numbness is superiority. Fake power is always loud. It tells you, don't feel, don't reflect, don't soften, don't listen, win at all costs, humiliate others before they humiliate you, be feared. This is not power. It is insecurity wearing armor. Machiavelli warned rulers about appearing strong while staying strategic. But weak minds misread him. They imitate the surface. Coldness, intimidation, manipulation, without mastering the real skilled judgment. Fake power makes you reactive. It makes you predictable. It makes you easy to bait, because the person who needs to prove they're powerful is not powerful. They are hungry. Fake power also destroys relationships. It trains you to see people as threats and transactions. It makes you suspicious of love. It makes you allergic to humility. It turns every disagreement into war. And war consumes the resources you need for real success: focus, patience, clarity, stable bonds, and a calm mind. So this place ruins you by giving you the illusion of strength while it steals the foundation of real strength. Real power is not aggression. Real power is self-command. A person with self-command doesn't need to intimidate. They don't need to broadcast. They don't need to posture. They can walk into a room quietly and still shape the energy. Now, notice something. These 6 places are not only external, they can also be internal patterns you return to. The room where you are tolerated is also the part of you that tolerates mediocrity. The drama room is also the part of you addicted to reactivity. The vice room is also your habit of justifying weakness. The insecurity, rewarding place is your need to be liked. The fear of solitude place is your avoidance of stillness. The fake power place is your ego trying to look strong instead of becoming strong. So the warning is not only about where you go, it's about what you feed. Title: 6 places that will ruin you. Machiavelli's warning: if the 6 places ruin you, there must be environments that build you. Machiavelli would never leave you with fear alone. His entire philosophy is built on one idea: if you can see the mechanics, you can control the outcome. So here is the reversal, the antidote. The antic places, environments that protect your mind, sharpen your judgment, and increase your power over time. Because the goal isn't to hide from the world. The goal is to stop bleeding in the wrong rooms. Place 1, the room where you are expected to rise. This is the environment where growth is normal, where ambition isn't treated like arrogance, where improvement doesn't threaten people. It inspires them. You'll feel it fast. You don't have to shrink to be accepted. You don't have to perform to be tolerated. You don't have to apologize for wanting more. The people in this room don't motivate you with speeches. They motivate you with standards. Their presence quietly raises the bar. This is the opposite of being tolerated. In this room, you are sharpened. Machiavelli would call this strategic alliance. A ruler surrounded by weak advisors becomes blind. A person surrounded by weak signals becomes small. So your first protection is simple: find people who make you more honest, not nicer, more honest. Place 2, the place where silence is respected. This is rare, and that's why it's powerful. In loud environments, your nervous system stays activated. You become reactive. You speak too much. You reveal too much. You leak power without noticing. In quiet environments, your nervous system settles. You become deliberate. You choose your words. You stop trying to win every moment. Machiavelli's princes moved quietly for a reason. Noise attracts enemies. Noise invites sabotage. Noise exposes intention. Silence protects intention. If your life has no silence, your life has no strategy. It becomes pure impulse. So you need places where stillness is normal. A library, a gym, a studio, a quiet walk, a protected time block. The point isn't the location. The point is the effect. Calm produces clarity. Place 3, the environment where discipline is contagious. Discipline is often environmental. Put a disciplined person in chaos long enough and they start compromising. Then they normalize the compromise. Then they become the chaos. But put an average person in a disciplined environment and they rise. Not because they suddenly became special, but because the environment stops rewarding weakness. A disciplined environment has simple rules. Work happens here. Distractions don't. Effort is honored. Excuses aren't. Machiavelli would call this institutional power. A state survives not because every citizen is virtuous, but because systems punish decay and reward stability. You need the same system. If your environment rewards laziness with comfort, you will decay. If your environment rewards discipline with progress, you will rise. Place 4, the circle where boundaries are normal. A healthy environment doesn't punish boundaries. It respects them. In toxic places, boundaries are treated as betrayal. When you say no, they say you changed. When you become unavailable, they say you think you're better. When you stop explaining, they call you rude. That's how you know the place was feeding on your access. In a healthy circle, boundaries don't create drama, they create respect. Because everyone understands self-command is the foundation of trust. Machiavelli warned against dependency. Boundaries reduce dependency. They protect your time, your energy, your standards. This circle teaches you a rare lesson. You don't need to be constantly accessible to be loved. You need to be consistent. Consistency is quiet power. Place 5. The place where truth is more valuable than comfort. This one isn't always pleasant, but it protects you. A place that values truth lets you improve. Improvement requires feedback. Honest feedback threatens ego, so most people avoid it. They prefer comfort. They prefer the warm lie, "You're fine, it'll work out, don't worry." Machiavelli would call that a dangerous advisor. An advisor who only pleases the ruler destroys him. You need environments where people can disagree without hatred, where critique isn't humiliation, where correction is normal. Truth builds competence. Competence builds confidence. Confidence reduces approval addiction. Place 6, the place where your future is built quietly. The final place is not only a location, it's a mode of life. It's the build room, the place where you train, learn, produce, and create output. The opposite of the drama room, the vice room, the fake power room. It is boring, it is quiet, it is lonely sometimes, and it changes everything. Because your future doesn't respond to your feelings, it responds to your output. Now, how do you detect ruin early, before it becomes your normal? Use this 3-question filter. Does this place reward my worst version or my best version? Do I leave with more clarity or more noise? Does this place make me more disciplined or more addicted? Answer honestly, and your life starts choosing better environments automatically. Machiavelli's warning: knowing the 6 ruin places is only half the battle. Most people already sense which environments are poisoning them. They feel it in their sleep, their anxiety, their attention span, their self-respect. They know the room is wrong. They know the circle is draining them. They know the habit is turning into a cage. They just don't leave. And the reason they don't leave has nothing to do with logic. It has everything to do with psychology, guilt, fear, familiarity, identity, the need to be liked, the fear of being alone, the fear of conflict, the fear that leaving makes you bad. A Machiavelli would tell you something blunt. If you cannot walk away from what weakens you, you don't have freedom. You have permission-based survival. So this final part is about the exit, the backlash, and the reset, because leaving ruined places is not only a change of location, it is a change of identity. Why you stay? Invisible contracts. You stay in toxic places because of invisible contracts you signed without realizing it. The contract of, "I will be the nice one." The contract of, "I will keep the peace." The contract of, "I will not disappoint anyone." The contract of, "I will accept crumbs because I fear hunger." The contract of, "I will stay small so others feel safe." These contracts are not love. They are fear disguised as virtue. Machiavelli warned rulers about dependence because dependence creates vulnerability. Invisible contracts are dependence. When you break them, people react. Not always because they hate you, but because your change threatens the system they got used to. If you were the pleaser, boundaries feel like betrayal. If you were the fixer, silence feels like cruelty. If you were the one who always showed up, absence feels like rejection. So don't be surprised by backlash. Backlash is confirmation that you were useful in a way that wasn't healthy. Exit like a strategist. Clean, not loud. Most people leave environments emotionally. They explode. They announce. They create drama on the way out. That's how you stay tied to the place even after you leave. The clean exit is quieter. You don't need a speech. You don't need revenge. You don't need to win the argument. You need distance. So leave like a strategist. Reduce contact. Reduce exposure. Reduce explanation. Increase structure. Increase quiet consistency. If you must speak, speak once. Then let behavior finish the sentence. Handling the pullback tactics. When you leave a ruined place, people try to pull you back with 3 tools. Shame. You changed. You think you're better. Guilt. After everything we did for you. Fear. You'll regret this. You'll end up alone. These are emotional weapons, not logical points. Your response is not to argue. Your response is to hold the boundary. Because the moment you defend your boundary, you invite negotiation. And negotiation is how you get dragged back in. So you keep it simple. You don't justify. You don't debate. You don't over-explain. You become consistent. Consistency is calm dominance. The empty gap where relapse happens, here's what no one warns you about. When you leave toxic places, your life becomes quieter. And that quiet can feel like loss. Drama is gone. Stimulation is gone. Constant messages are gone. Familiar chaos is gone. Your brain panics because it confuses chaos with being alive. This is the empty gap, the space between ruin and rebuilding. Most people relapse here not because they miss the poison, but because they miss the stimulation. So you fill the gap with structure, not motivation. The 7-day reset: replace ruin with growth. 7 days. One objective: remove ruin signals and install growth signals. Day 1, clean your inputs, mute chaos, reduce outrage, envy, comparison. Your feed is a place. Treat it like one. Day 20, remove the easy vice. Remove triggers. Don't rely on willpower. Remove doors. Day 30, create one build room. Gym, library, studio, work, sprint, protect it. Day 40, raise standards through behavior. Say no once. Decline one draining invitation. Stop explaining. Day 5, the install discipline cues. Prepare the environment for your better self. Reduce friction for good habits. Day 6, audit the circle. Reduce exposure to people who reward your worst version. Increase exposure to people who sharpen you. Day 7, you choose one long-term alliance. A mentor, a serious friend, a disciplined community. One strong signal is better than 10 weak ones. This reset will feel boring. Good. Boredom is where recovery begins. Final warning: ruin is contagious. Machiavelli's deepest lesson here is selection. A ruler becomes the average of his advisors. A person becomes the average of their environment. Ruin is contagious. If you sit long enough in rooms that reward weakness, you become weaker. If you sit long enough in rooms that normalize vice, you become indulgent. If you sit long enough in rooms that sell fake power, you become fragile and loud. So here's the final frame: the 6 places that ruin you are not always physical. They are patterns, feeds, circles, habits, emotional